I'm Lisa Lucas, and you're watching UABQ.
Don't believe me, just watch.
We're back on the Morning Brew with Friends, and Commander Gary brought in one of my oldest friends in Albuquerque, I guess. Saul, nice to see you.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. I can't believe you've never been on the show before, Saul.
It just never worked out, but
Right.
I'm glad I'm here today.
Because we get to talk about the business plan competition, which was just last Wednesday.
Last Friday.
Last Friday.
Yeah.
And this is the list of all of the winners, but just we'll take people back for a second, explain what the UNM business plan competition is, because it's for business students. And
Actually, it's for all any UNM student can participate. And this year we've done something that we really would hope to be a trend. We've added CNM students.
Oh, very cool.
And the trend that I'm talking about is hopefully we can get people from other university colleges and universities to participate, to kind of really make it a little bit bigger and really help New Mexico in achieving what we really want to achieve, which is start new businesses.
Very cool.
Saul's leadership, though, is incredible here, because instead of just getting something successful and staying the same, he's constantly reinventing it.
Right.
And this year, not only are we including CNM, which more and more collaboration is necessary in our state in general, and next year maybe other universities, but the other thing is more social problems and more, instead of asking kids, what job do you want to do, they say, what problem do you want to solve?
Right.
That's a different thing. Now, what resources do you need to solve that problem? We have more and more, and in today's show is actually around that, if you think about it.
No doubt.
More and more social issues being solved instead of just the next app. Nothing
By
wrong with that.
entrepreneurs, by people who are seeing ways to make money off solving social issues too.
That's right.
How long has the business plan competition been around? It's been a while.
This is our 11th year.
11th year.
So we started in 2005.
And there's real money for startups on this too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I cannot really thank our sponsors enough because, for instance, this year we have two tracks. One is the technology track. The technology track, we do $25,000 first prize, $20,000 second.
And this is like no strings attached money, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is really to kind of encourage people to get businesses and really increase the availability of high-paying jobs in New Mexico, increase wealth and increase jobs.
Very cool. So there's the technology track, and what's the other track?
The other track is the entrepreneurial track, where, on the technology side, you need to have intellectual property position, kind of erecting a barrier against other people competing with you. On the entrepreneurial track, we leave it quite open, so you can really do things that other people might have done, but obviously you have to
you come up with,
on
this is the better mousetrap version of the
compete
competition.
on running faster, doing things better, cheaper, in a different way, and so forth.
Very cool. So who are the winners this year, and what kinds of companies did kids come up with?
I think I probably should refer your listeners to the what I refer to as the centerfold of the Business Outlook, the Albuquerque Journal Business Outlook.
Yeah.
That really kind of gives a lot of information about the winners. So on the technology side, it's a group of 3 students, undergraduates at the University of New Mexico, and they basically came up with the idea of, when moms with young babies, need to be fed, the babies need to be fed, you start fumbling in the diaper bag with, where do I find the formula?
You have to carry so much gear when you have a little one, right?
Absolutely. So they really got, kind of, I don't have the bottle to show you, but think of this as the bottle. So they really created something that sits on top that has the measured formula. So, you really can get, the bottle and this thing, Formapop is really the gizmo that sits on top. And, you can really take it, open it up, pour the amount that you need.
On the go. That's cool.
And you don't have to fumble with things.
That's cool. That's a great example of people finding a problem that they're just solving. What about MyPop? What do those guys do? Or MyTap, I mean.
MyTap is actually a CNM entry. So in a way, I mean, right out of the gate, they won the second prize, which is great. So they have an app for draft beer. So they have a.
Wait, I love this already.
Yes.
So they build a database that really tracks all of the draft beers around the world. Obviously, the database grows as one invents or comes up with a new formula. And this app kind of tells you the flavor, so that if you like a certain hoppy flavor or one that is a little bit more like a Guinness, a little more of a stout, and so forth. So it really gives you where you can get it, how much it is, the taste, and
I'm
so
a fan.
forth.
Lots of data.
Before we go, I'm actually going to download the MyTap app.
You should.
And then there's Agua del Sol and Corona Colectiva and Blossom Beauty and all these companies that all join the competition. So how long have all these companies been working on this? Because it's not a thing, they don't just start overnight, do they?
No, I mean, this is, we usually do a kickoff sometime in October, September, really just to kind of, in a way, advertise to the students, hey, we're in business. The students start working, I mean, we try to kind of get them to start working as soon as possible on it, because as you know, really doing, kind of the market analysis, kind of a lean startup methodology, talking to your customers, getting out of the building and talking to people, figuring out the financials, figuring out who am I missing in my management team that can make this better.
That's a lot for students in 6 months.
Absolutely. And a part of it is, a lot of them really do this on top of carrying a full load in school. But we feel that, the experience that they get here not only helps them in the current business that they do, but I mean, as you know, I mean, I know Gary used to work for Intel. I think a lot of these, pieces of knowledge, kind of really linking a market to financials to management team really can help you in just about anything that you do in your career. I mean, that's the way the world works. So, if you're going to go to work for Sandy, having an understanding of, who's going to use this and why and what would it cost, and I think is a wonderful thing. So I think we are hoping to kind of really get more and more people involved in the business plan.
And not just students, but sponsors and everything too, because you do need real money for the students and the businesses they launch.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, like I said, our sponsors have been great. Gary is the city of Albuquerque, and obviously through Gary, they sponsored the first prize on the entrepreneurial side, and thanks. I mean, this is really wonderful work. Really collaborating. The different pieces of the Albuquerque economy collaborating to make us all look better and be great.
Right. So where have these companies gone? Do they go from the competition? Do they survive and thrive and go off into the wild and?
Yes, I mean, as you know, I mean, this writing a business plan, figuring out if your idea has traction in the marketplace, finding some investment if you're looking for investment. I mean, the business plan is really kind of like the first step, figuring out what you need to kind of propose to people so that they can support you, whether you are looking for your next employee, key employee, whether you're looking for some funding. So this is the first step, and I think a lot of these companies basically kind of go to the next step and try to kind of really verify their markets, kind of produce some prototypes. So we have a lot of examples in Albuquerque. One of the ones that, the group that won last year is Twist Resist. They are working on their prototype.
We've had them on the show.
Yes,
That's right.
and they're trying to kind of really get it placed in some of the exercise, facilities to kind of figure out, does that help people with their rehabilitation as well as exercising muscles that could not be done with.
These companies they're being launched right out of UNM.
Absolutely.
I love it. So what's the deadline for students next year? It's October?
No, there's really, there's no deadline. I mean, we really try to get people to work on it. We'd like them to kind of give us some sense, that they're participating so that we can prepare in terms of if they want us to find them mentors, if they want us to help them in figuring things out and so on. So the sooner they start, the better it is, obviously. Right. But, we kind of basically ask them for an intent to propose sometime in January, February, just for our logistics more than anything else. We go to classes, we go, anywhere that anybody invites us to talk about this, really try to encourage them to participate.
That sounds great. Well, thanks for coming on. It's all good to see you as always, and we'll be back in a couple of seconds on the Morning Brew.